This is lesson 2 in algebra. Don't forget, you're going to write at the very top of the page. We're going to talk about understanding variables and expressions. A variable, it's not writing very well, that's our vocab word. It's a symbol. Usually we use a letter, so usually a letter representing an unknown number. A constant is a quantity which means an amount whose value doesn't change. It's constantly the same number. And a coefficient is the numeric factor of a product which includes a variable. So we're going to show an example here and name all the parts. We have 4x squared y plus 2. The 4 is called a coefficient because it's the numeric factor of this product. So this is called a coefficient. Coefficient. Okay. The x and the y are considered variables. They're letters that represent a value or quantity. The 2 is a constant. It is never going to change. 2 will always be 2. And each of these multiplied together, these are all called factors. The 4, the x, the other x, and the y. Those are all factors. Now an expression, another vocab word, an expression is a statement with plus or minus signs. And each part is called a term. So if I had an expression 3x plus 2y minus 10, notice that there's a plus and a minus sign, so this whole thing is considered an expression. Each part, the 3x, the positive 2y, and the negative 10, these are all called terms. So there's 3 terms. So this expression has 3 terms. So we're going to make a list here of examples of some expressions. So here's our expression. It's going to go below the title here. And then we're going to put the number of terms within that expression. So the first one we're going to write is 4x. There's no plus and minus sign, so this is just one term. How about y plus 2? There's a plus sign, so each part counts as a term. So this has 2 terms. If I put the y plus 2 within parentheses, that's considered a term. Let me double check here. Yes, that is one term, because it's in parentheses. A negative 8, that's one term. 2x plus 3y minus 4, that has 3 terms. If you have a division problem, p divided by 5 plus I, that is actually one term. And the x, here's an example, x minus 4xym, that is 2 terms. One more example. P over 5 plus I minus 4x plus y plus 2 in parentheses plus a negative 8. This has 1, 2, 3, 4 terms. So those are some examples with expressions and terms. Okay, the next part of this lesson is some more practice where we're going to identify factors and coefficients. So this is another example. Identify factors and coefficients. So we have mn divided by 3. Now the factors are 1/3. Notice that the 3 started in the denominator, and in our factors it stays in the denominator. So the coefficient or the number in front of the m is a 1. 1 times mn. So we have 1/3, we have an m, and we have an n. So if you multiplied 1/3 m and n, you're going to get mn divided by 3. The coefficient is the number in front of the constant, or the number part of your factors. So this is 1/3. Here's another one, xy divided by 2. You can say the factors are 1/2 x and y. The coefficient is the number part of this term, 1/2. It's called a coefficient because it is the number that is in front of both of the variables. And that's the end of lesson 2.